May the 6th. How's everybody doing this morning? It was an incredible weekend, Albert. It was crazy. I don't know what to say about it. We woke up and the weather was crap. I mean, absolute crap. The forecast looked like crap. It was 90% chance of rain. It was misty, it was pouring, it was cold, it was windy. And we got over 500 people to come to that thing in downtown Massillon, man.
Yep.
It was incredible. I could not believe that we got that many people to come down.
Yeah, and what was really cool, like for me personally, like seeing all those people that I don't get to see on a regular basis, right?
Right,
Having those
right.
interactions, having those things. And the second cool part was bringing some of the Carolina boys up. I mean, that and for them to see it again, John and Chuck, or Junior and Chuck have seen it. John, Big John, it's his first time in, right? So it was cool, man. It was cool.
It was. You know, we had like you said, the Carolina boys, and big thanks to them for coming up, riding with you.
Yep.
You know, we've got that quote unquote chapter down there with a lot of car stuff, right? A lot of motorsports down there, a little bit of fishing,
a little bit of fishing, a little bit of golf.
Yeah, you know, great having those guys on board. We're waiting actually right now for Chuck and Junior to log in. We're waiting for Chuck to get his camera set up, and Junior should be checking on here in just a minute. We're going to have another guest later today, our boy Chops, who attended the counter steer with us down in North Carolina. He's at a physical therapy appointment this morning. He's going to join us probably around 10:30, maybe a little bit after. Junior's on right now. That's really cool. But let's say it again. 507 people registered for that hike on Saturday. There's our big man right there, Chuck, or Junior. Let me give an introduction to Junior here. So Junior is one of those Carolina boys, and he did 4 years. He did 4 years in the Navy from 98 to 02, and he was stationed aboard the USS George Phillip based out of San Diego. He followed that up with about 18 years in law enforcement, with a majority of that time as a major crimes detective. He medically retired, I believe it was just recently, due to a line of duty injury. So, Junior, first of all, my friend, thank you for coming on board with Safe 22, and thank you for your service. Thank you for all that law enforcement. 18 years in major crimes detective is just unbelievable to me, man. That's a lot of mental anguish. I think personal. What do I want to say? Personal identity crisis could be an issue, I guess I'd say.
Yeah.
We won't go there.
We won't.
Ride in the truck with him for a while.
Yeah, but hey, I want to talk to you real quick about what your experience in the service was and your transition out real quick, and then how did you get online with Save 22? How did you come to hear about Save 22?
So it was a difficult. That transition time was difficult. So I ended up having to. I got injured while I was in the Navy. I had 2 shoulder surgeries from being on board the ship. They tried to med board me out, or I tried to med board out. Got denied because my EAOS was about 7 months from then. So they said, we're not gonna med board you out, but if you're not fit for duty by your EAOS, you're gonna have to transition out. So that was difficult because August of 02, I mean, we're talking the height of my enlistment term, which would have been 9/11 related.
Right.
So being forced to get out at a time where in the height of what everyone signs up for.
Right.
So that was really difficult. It was that transition. It was I was lost for a good couple of years. Just makes it super tough of just trying to figure out who you are now. What do I do?
Identity, exactly. Right?
That's exactly it. That's exactly.
Because you were how old? How old were you? 22, 23?
Man. 22.
Yeah.
22. So I mean, it's tough. I mean, you're first off, what 22-year-old knows what the hell they're doing to begin with? couple it with everything else at the time that's going on. I talk with guys. Actually, I'll get to that in a minute. So fast forward, just kind of try to figure out. I was previously married. She was active duty, so she was a corpsman. So, which honestly, I hate to say it, made it feel worse because you're not able to disconnect all the way. You're still
attached somehow. Yeah.
Knowing that you can't do anything. Now, don't get me wrong. She took an overseas billet to Okinawa for 3 years. So I played the dependent spouse card for 3 years.
How'd that go for you?
That a bit. I had a blast.
So what I'm hearing is you were a dependopotamus.
I will own it. Without ever claiming her rank, I'll own that.
All right.
Dude,
there you go.
I had space age travel down to a science. But so after that, and I chalked that time of not really having any idea of what I'm doing or where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah.
That kind of started spiraling. That marriage. So I came back stateside. Went back to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where I was born and raised. At the time, my father's always been in law enforcement. He's an Air Force vet. So he retired as
Well, wait a minute. What happened to you?
Well, you know what? I always tell everybody I've got zero regrets in life. But if I had to do it all over again, I would 100% go with quality of life enlistment. Definitely, I'm not mad at definitely Air Force. I would have gone, but I lived the Air Force dependent life, and I just wanted something different. So, but father was always in law enforcement. He was he retired as a SAC out of OSI. Him and Albert have had conversations.
So that's special agent in charge.
Right.
That's a special agent in the OSI, which is the Office of Special Investigation, which is kind of like the Air Force's version of
CID.
Internal Affairs. CID, Naval CID, Naval Investigative Services, Army CID, that kind of stuff. So go ahead.
So, when he retired out of the Air Force, he transitioned into law enforcement. We went back to our hometown. So when I got out, I went back. He was currently the sergeant over the Major Crimes Division when I got hired on. He retired from that agency. I in turn retired from that agency. Worked a good bit of patrol. Spent a couple years as a school resource officer, and then patrol supervisor, and then the rest of the time was as a detective. Really, really enjoyed my career. I will say that the entrance into Save 22 came when I was right back to where I was in 2002.
Mindset wise? Is that what you're talking about? Mindset wise? What was that like? Like confusion or angry or not knowing or
with those suicidal? those guys that are getting out of the military that have that date set of this is my EAS or this is my retirement date. That's date set in stone. You know where that date is when you're getting out. I had my retirement date from law enforcement, and it got cut short. And I was right back to what do I do now? I'm lost. What's my sense of belonging? Had many conversations with Albert, and with Chuck. I was, at the time I was working with another organization with Chuck, and things.
Now that organization was a what do we want to say? Quick response to suicide, right?
It was.
So you were tasked with 2 a.m. phone calls on a plane at 3 o'clock and talking them off the ledge at 6. I mean, it was intense.
It kind of filled that void of belonging or sense of sense of duty, or what do I do?
Right.
But due to some personal reasons, I kind of stepped away from there, and I've always known what Albert and you guys do with Save 22. I've always enjoyed it. I like the awareness aspect of Save 22. It is okay to not be okay, and let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Let's get away from the stigma of having thoughts or having that demon you're fighting where you're not supposed to talk about that. Society says that's not okay. And it couldn't be any further from the truth. So I really enjoyed that. Of course, Albert was had moved. Albert had moved down to Carolinas at that time. We'd known him. And Albert said, "Hey, you guys want to help out with some events that we're going to try and do here." So it was the right. Everything happens for a reason. It was the right time.
Right. So I'm going to ask, or I'm going to give a little bit of your background. You've been involved nationally with the FOP, right? Fraternal Order of Police. You've been every position, and from advocate to sergeant at arms to president to national level stuff. And this was not your first hike this year, right? This was your second hike, I believe.
Second hike. Yep.
So
I believe what was years ago? Go ahead.
What was that first impression of that first hike that you came to? Because I believe it was over in Massillon at the Eagles Club it was down Carrollton still?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
I think it was last year at Carrollton, maybe too.
Last year at Carrollton. So let's talk about that. What have you seen in the last 4 years to go from the Carrollton site to Massillon? What was your first impression when you showed up there to what we were doing or trying to do?
When we did so the first hike I participated in, actually was able to do the walk, was in Carrollton, at the old pool, I guess is what.
Yep.
Am I right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And it was special. So we ended up making it a guys trip. Me and Chuck came up. His birthday was yesterday, mine's tomorrow. So we made it a guys trip. And I brought my son. And if you've ever spent 30 seconds with Colby,
yes,
you fall in love with him. I had people that I vaguely remembered this hike come up and ask specifically, where was he at? I'm no longer John. I'm Colby's dad, and I wear that proudly. But when we came up there to Carrollton for the hike, we loved it. If anyone's ever seen the pictures or the video of that hike, he's the little boy that's hauling the American flag, the big one. And he did probably about 95% of that hike at 5. He roughed it out. So, and then I believe the first year that y'all did it in Massillon, I came back as a spectator. And even this year wasn't able to do the hike, was fortunate enough to kind of do some stuff behind the scenes, which was awesome. But I got to say, from all my years of events, I can't speak more highly of the support you have in Massillon.
It's pretty incredible.
From the mayor to the and a year or two ago, I can't remember if it was the chief or the sheriff that I met. I want to say it was probably the sheriff.
Yeah.
But we talked. We swapped coins, and kind of just told him from a police officer boots on the ground perspective, the impact that he was having supporting this organization was instrumental. You talk to while everyone was out on the hike this year, I kind of walked around and talked to the behind the scene folks, the patrol guys that were blocking the intersections for you. Talk with them. The public works folks that set up all the barriers that was breaking stuff down, and just everyone. And as bad as the weather was, everyone was positive, was happy to be out there, and I think they realized that cause and that what you all are pushing, they truly believed in. So
I agree. Man, thanks for that assessment, dude. Thanks for that assessment. I appreciate you being up here. I love the outsider looking in viewpoint. I was the MC this year, so I didn't get a whole chance to see what was going on or talk to a lot of people during the event, right? Because I'm the one up there talking, but to hear you say those kind of things, I did have a couple of people come up to us and make a real quick 30-second their story or whatever. But I'd like to bring in Chuck Cooks. Chuck and I have known each other since he did the Straight Talk podcast years ago. And we talked about his time with that other organization and his time as a rapid response coordinator for them and his travels and suicidal events. Chuck is a former Army communications specialist who was injured during his time in Korea. It's his story to tell, but it was by another American soldier downtown. He's blind in one eye. He's got some damage to his facial muscles. And he is just an all-around incredible dude who has traveled this country to ensure that our veterans and first responders have someone to talk to in their darkest hour. So, Chuck, thanks for joining us, buddy. I know it's hard for you sometimes, so thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you.
Hey, so this is probably your, I don't know, 5th or 6th time being up here for the hike.
I think probably my 5th.
10th year for us. What have you seen a big change in with Save 22 in the community since you've been coming around?
Just a tight-knit family type of atmosphere. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody understands the the mission. We also take time to correct each other in our own way. We hold each other responsible, and we all have the same heart and drive to do what we can to help our the veterans. And
well, I appreciate that, Chuck. It's not always easy, and they say that they only ever see the final product, right? They don't see the work that goes in behind everything, and people want what we have. And you struggled mightily when you suffered your injury. Number one being non-combat related, same as myself in that aspect, being non-combat related injuries. But you were immediately told you were done. You couldn't serve anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You were over in Korea. You had to be transported to, was it Walter Reed, I believe?
Yeah, I spent a year in Walter Reed.
Spent a year at Walter Reed recovering. That transition for you had to have been just one of those holy shit moments, I guess. Like John was saying, when you have an EOS, you're going to get out. You went out. It was Super Bowl Sunday. I remember I happened to be there in Korea at the same time at the base where Chuck was at. I remember the safety briefings and everything that we got afterwards. It's kind of ironic that we meet 30 years later down the road. tell me about your mental state when that happened, because knowing you now with your, I don't know, your demeanor, your dry sense of humor, your ability to turn it off and turn it on, it could not have come easily. I doubt that it was an overnight thing for you. You can't tell me that lying in bed there with, your eyeball hanging out, that you were positive, cutting jokes and everything. Can you tell me about that real quick?
I I was positive in cutting jokes, but
For
uh,
real?
I
Like, are
you
you
know
for real?
I grew up pretty hard, as a kid. So uh, when I got hurt, my mental, I guess, was I'm just happy to be alive.
That's awesome.
That type of thing. Why am I still here? Uh, why me? That type of thing. But I never really get let it bother me. Uh, I mean,
No
at the time,
self-pity, no, no,
no,
no, no. That's
no.
good. That's great.
Uh, at the time, Walter Reed was basically still just a hospital. I mean, we didn't. There were no dorms or anything like that
Yeah, I
there.
want to be clear. Your injury was in 1993, January 30th of 1993. So we're talking
Correct.
32 years ago now, right?
Right.
Pre 9/11, pre Iraq and Afghanistan, post Gulf War One, if you call it that, I guess. So the attention to Walter Reed hadn't been established yet, I guess you'd say.
Correct. I was, and you say that my career was over. The next morning, after going through 14 hours of emergency surgery, uh, my battalion sergeant major was in my room. And the first thing he did was, check on me, see how I was feeling, and he let me know your military career is over, basically.
How'd that make you feel right then and there?
I had a lot of anger with that. Uh, I had, I had been in combat, and then I had basically spent my year tour in Korea. I had 11, 12 days left in
Yeah.
country
Yeah.
and was, headed back to Fort Bragg when I got injured. Uh, and the thing is, I would do it again
Yeah.
if that same situation presented itself. Uh, and it was 2 years ago, I guess, when the reality of what happened to me kind of hit me, and Albert and John both kind of know about this. I went to Shepherd Institute in Atlanta, Georgia, for
Right.
for TBI and stuff. And I guess it must have been I had 1 or 2 days left there, and that was it. And I was standing in the mirror one morning, or brushing my teeth, whatever. And I looked up and I just noticed for the first time in 30 years that my good eye, I had a cut, a scar less than a quarter of an inch away from my eye itself. So I was that close to being completely blind in both eyes.
Wow.
And it just hit me that one day, and I just, broke down and started crying. But it was not a feel sorry for me cry. It was wow, why me?
Yeah.
Yes, I got hurt, but at the same time, I didn't die, and I still
Right.
had everything I needed to you know go against the world still. So, uh, and you guys know me, and
Yeah.
my sense of humor uh, ha, has has
Second to
got me
none.
has got me through a lot in life. Uh,
Yeah, I've had conversations with my wife and other people. They're like, "Why are you so serious?" And I didn't understand what people meant. Right? I didn't understand that I was being so hard on myself and so serious on myself that I had never laughed at my own self for my own mistakes, right, or my own learning experiences. And being around you and John and Al have really, and Jason too. Jason's really helped me out a lot with this. Is you're not perfect, bro. And things are going to happen. And there's been things in your life that you have zero control over. So you can either laugh or you can be pissed off. And you know what? Life's too short to be pissed off. So let's try and laugh about it a little bit. So I started laughing about how I got injured, which is I got cocky and said, I'm going to hit this guy lower than he hits me. And I broke my back. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Right? That's just the way it goes. And, you know, you just keep doing the job. You keep working. They tell you there's nothing wrong. Just keep working out and keep stretching. And so you do that. And, you know, you and I are now in our middle 50s nearly, and shit just doesn't work like it used to. And it's frustrating, and you're slowing down, and we're reaching that point where, you know, we're not 25 anymore. And we've always said it because it always hurt, but we were always able to keep going and keep that same pace. And man, the activity level has just like dramatically dropped off for me in the last year with everything. And, you know, I understand why you do as much as you do. Actually, I don't, because you guys are always doing so much. I don't know how you do it, but what does it give you when you do these events, right? We always talk about what we've given others and what others have done, but what does it give you when you come to these events and are able to share a little bit of your story or talk to other veterans about these things?
Naturally, I'm a giver. You know, I've got a big heart naturally.
Yeah, and it's not just because you're 6'6".
Right. Yeah. But when you get around other veterans or people in general, it doesn't take anything to be nice. It doesn't cost a penny. It doesn't cost anything but my time that I have to be somewhere anyway. So if I couldn't, you know, serve my 20 or whatever due to my injury, you know, there's other ways to serve.
There are. You are correct, sir.
So if I can take a phone call, or, you know, I can put on a Save 22 t-shirt and walk around Walmart or the mall, or people ask me what it is.
Yeah.
But, you know, you never know what somebody is going through.
Right.
You may be standing in line at Walmart with somebody who's having the worst day of their life.
Mm-hmm.
And just by, you know, holding the door for them, or, you know, checking on them, say, hey, you know, how's your day going? Stuff like that can change somebody's life.
It can. It can really make a difference.
And you never know at the time whose life you can make a change to. So why go through life being hateful? Why go through life not wanting to help other people who are just trying to do the same thing you're doing and survive?
Yeah. I commend you for having that attitude, Chuck, because if anybody could be pissed off for the rest of their life, it could be you, you know? So I commend you for your attitude. I want to ask Albert real quick. Albert, can we make a mention on what we just did this morning for these guys? All right. So we know that Albert is our Carolina representative down there around the Myrtle Beach area, and Chuck and John have been assisting and attending events for a couple years now. And we are proud to announce that Save 22 has now accepted Chuck and John Jr. here as Save 22 advocates. They are part of our family here at Save 22 and will be organizing and taking on events on their own down in the Myrtle Beach area. So thank you guys for that commitment. Thank you for being around for us. Once again, welcome to the family. And I couldn't be happier to have you officially on board with us. Really, thank you very much.
And we have one other guy that came with us too. It's Wagner, John Wagner.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, there he is. He's done. He's off his VA appointment. What's up, buddy?
Okay, we did. So we'd like to welcome John Wagner too. John is a former Marine. I'm sorry, am I allowed to say that? Former.
You hear him? Nothing like a former Marine. So yeah.
John, go ahead. You want to tell them about John's connection for us?
Yeah. So John was one of the first guys I met moving in, was a neighbor. Thought I pissed him off because I asked him what Favor's color was in a crayon, and he just kind of looked at me. He's like, whatever, and walked away. And I'm like, great. So just over the course of conversations, man, he's become like a brother, right? Like Chuck and John Jr. as well. And he was on the Coastal staff for 6 years now.
Coastal Carolina football.
Coastal Carolina football, and he used his connections to help us get in with Coastal. And because of that, we are able to take veterans and their families and first responders and give them all access at the games. They get a seat, they get on the field, they get in the line for the players coming out. It's a pretty cool experience, you know. And that's because of John. John's also helped with some car shows. He's always doing stuff in the background, like Junior and Chuck as well. It made sense to bring these guys up. It's been a phenomenal week with these goofballs.
I bet
we've shared a lot. We've laughed a lot. You know,
crazy truck time.
There's something to be said about that truck time.
Something to be said about that truck time.
Can't put a price tag on that. You can't. You can't.
No, you can't sell it, right? It's one of those things that, you know, you and I talked about it ad nauseum a couple times with the Daytona podcast in Atlanta, and you know that the radio doesn't come on. You know, we just talk. We don't have to listen to the radio. We just talk. We get through things, and you know, sometimes all you need is that ear to listen, or that other perspective of what you're battling inside your head. And you know, I think Chuck or John, one of them mentioned the demons. You know, those demons don't have to be suicidal ideations or suicidal thoughts, right? Those demons could be that you're fighting this VA battle that you just don't understand, and why do I have to do this or do that? And I should have been able to do this or that. And you know, I said a few weeks ago that anger and confusion can be mitigated with education. So you know, when you're having this struggle, this fight with the VA or disability or Social Security or your job or family or kids or whatever, and you just can't seem to get past it, man, voice that to somebody, right? Bring that up to somebody and say, man, this is really kicking my ass, right? I don't know why. Or you might have a time when you don't know what's happening to you, where everything is broken in your life, or you feel like everything is broken and you're just not winning at anything you try. Maybe a change of perspective could be nice, you know.
And I'd like to touch on something too before I forget it.
Go ahead.
Chuck and Junior and John, you know, we know each other pretty well, right? For just not being around, like John Wagner not being around as much Chuck and John as I have, but Chuck and I both should be using our rollators to walk everywhere. It's a tool. At the hike, Junior and John brings over our walkers, and they both look at us like, here you go. Now, pouring down rain, they don't have to think about that stuff, right? But that just shows you the type of people that we're surrounded with. They recognize somebody else's needs before their own. And when you have people like that in your life, it's pretty amazing.
It is. It's not that they're trying to point something out and we're not getting mad or upset about it. It's that we know that they understand because they're in the same kind of situation.
Right.
And it's okay. Right. I get very frustrated. I mean, I want the attention. This is the crazy part about being who we are. I want people to know that I'm hurting. I don't want people to know that I'm hurting. Right. I want to use it as I don't want to use it as an excuse, but I don't want extra attention or sympathy because I am hurting.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's tough.
And I'm learning quickly that rollator gives me more bandwidth. It gives my body a break.
Yeah.
So again, Junior, John, I know you're listening. Thank you for that. Good shit.
Yeah. Good stuff with those guys today. John and Chuck, I want to let you guys go. We're going to bring in our buddy Samson here as soon as he gets in, but I can't thank you enough for spending this 20, 30 minutes with us this morning. They are in our email chain. They will be out and about down in the Carolina areas. Look for them. Actually, let's talk about that real quick before you go. You have an event this weekend. It is for the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association at the Pelicans baseball game.
Yep.
And I don't remember the town. I apologize where they're at. But
Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach Pelicans. And our very own Albert Wooden is going to throw out the first pitch. Attempt to throw out the first pitch this weekend at the Myrtle Beach Pelicans baseball game. So listen, if you're in the Myrtle Beach area, swing down, go see some really good. I think they're AAA, right? Are they AAA or AA?
I believe triple.
AAA,
double
A. So they're not getting paid yet, but it's great.
No, they get paid.
Oh, do they?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They're triple.
They're triple.
Oh, they're
Chuck
triple?
says. They would know.
Chuck says they're triple. So great family time, right? Good baseball
military
games.
Appreciation Night. It's
Military Appreciation Night. May 10th, this Saturday, Myrtle Beach baseball. Our very own Albert Wooden's going to attempt a first pitch.
Ball.
This is going to be hilarious. I'm just going to tag along real quick with this first pitch thing because it's kind of ironic. My daughter's going to be in Toledo this weekend, and she's been asked to throw out a first pitch for the Toledo Mud Hens.
So what you're saying is I got to watch her and outdo her. That's what I'm hearing.
I don't know if can we have a first pitch competition? Can we do that? Can we have a first pitch competition?
We absolutely can.
All right. Well, you guys FaceTime each other, work it out, and make the bet, and then we'll talk about it on the next. We'll talk about it on the next podcast. How's that?
We will. That'll be great. And then I want to also say Memorial Day weekend. Chuck's going to be with me. We're going to Charlotte for the weekend. Got some vets and some family lined up for that weekend. Got some other little surprises coming too. I think you might want to pay attention for this one.
We are going to. It's amazing how far Safe 22 Motorsports has gone. Samson just texted me. He's getting some ice on his knee. So maybe about another 10 minutes. But let's talk about the upcoming events. John and Chuck, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you very much again. Look for them out at Myrtle Beach. Pelicans Baseball Military Appreciation Night to benefit CVMA and Safe 22 veterans. Our very own Albert Wooden throwing out the first pitch. It's going to be pretty incredible. Guys, take care of yourselves. I'll see you when I see you.
Thank you,
you
guys.
You never know where you'll see us at.
You don't. You don't. Gentlemen, I'm going to let you go. Take care.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Man, I love those guys. And you know, I never thought about that perspective that you just said right there with why do I have that ad source on there? We need to get rid of that.
I'm not sure. That's weird.
I don't know how to get rid of that. Holy cow. This is really cool. Kind of, not really.
Oh,
messing us up. Oh, that's a good one.
We're good.
Boy, could we use a producer on this thing or what?
Something. Anyway, that's good.
All right, we'll figure it out here after a bit. So let's talk about upcoming events. You down there in Myrtle Beach this weekend, May 10th. You kind of teased a little bit the ARCA Charlotte deal with Ryan Roulette Racing. So we can talk about that real quick. We are going to be Memorial Day weekend. Why don't you do it? Because you're the one that's, you go ahead. You're the one that's going to travel.
Yeah. So we're going to go up early in the day, catch the ARCA stuff with Ryan. We've come to realize that looking at Airbnbs compared to hotels is more cost effective depending on how many people we have going. So again, we're going to get the Airbnb, break bread together, have that time together, have that porch time. I'm looking forward to that. Being able to be, again, having access to Mike Harmon once again.
Right.
Thank you. Being with Ryan at the ARCA series, we're going to be able to go to the truck race, and then we're going to check out the Xfinity race with Mike Harmon. So Chuck's going to go with me. We've got a special surprise on Sunday.
Do we?
Yes, we
do.
Can
we tease it?
It's a young gentleman in motorsports. How about that?
There we go. It's a young gentleman in motorsports we're going to be having dinner with. Well, Al is. I'm going to be up here. I have to do some self-care,
self-maintenance.
self-maintenance. I am, I have to do some self-maintenance. It's kind of slowed me down for the last month or so, but I'm excited that we get to be at Charlotte for Memorial Day weekend. That is an incredible weekend. You know, a few years ago, we did an interview with George Lutz, and George had gotten the knock on the door. He lost his son in combat, and he started the Folds of Honor, or Honor and Remember. I'm sorry, he started Honor and Remember, and Memorial Day weekend, Honor and Remember got their emblem on every Goodyear tire that was used that weekend. It was over 500 sets of tires. So NASCAR has really done a fantastic job of. Chuck Sampson's coming on. NASCAR has done a fantastic job of recognizing veterans, and showing support. Almost every team out there has some way of bringing veterans to the racetrack or some connection. And the attention that we have gotten and support that we have gotten from Mike Harmon, Ryan Roulette, the Xfinity Series, Rick Ware, right, Lex June, all those guys just has been incredible. So NASCAR is really doing a great job. And I know I mentioned some NHRA people in there, but let's get Sampson on here in just a second. I'm going to let him. We're going to work on this. Albert, go ahead and talk about your experiences at Charlotte last week with the 4-wide, if you don't mind, real quick.
Yeah, sure will. So, So Lex is an independent team, doesn't have a whole lot of sponsorship, and he works his butt off. The team works their butt off. They kept finding little things wrong. So it's their first time out, new crew chief that came in to volunteer his time, well-known crew chief. And these guys just kept coming back, kept over and over and over again. Clutch problem, timing problem, intake, letting the RPMs run off, like just all these little things, right? And they're fighting it and fighting it and fighting it. And finally, they get a run, and he clicks off the number, and I'm like, we're in. Yeah. And then I start doing the math, and I'm like, man, there's a couple more cars. Like, I'm just not quite sure. And then the cars spin and don't make it. So we're good. Like, we're in the show. And get back to the pit at that moment, and I just grab Lex, and we just cry. Right? Like, I look at him, and he's tearing, I'm tearing, and we're like, ugh. Like, and I captured a picture of Lex sitting by himself, nobody around, and he's just kind of slumped over, you know? And you could just see how much weight he was carrying because he wanted to do so much for the veterans. And they able to make the show. They got into the final, or they got into the show. They lined up next to Tony Stewart and Steve Torrance, I believe.
Yep. Or Steve Langdon.
I'm not sure, but
I can't remember.
And to see it again on TV, like you said, go look at it.
Yeah.
And just to see it, right?
Right.
It was pretty cool.
Pretty cool. You can go back and watch that NHRA event in Charlotte at the ZMAX Dragway on FS1 on the app. I don't think you need a subscription for it. I think you just free account, and you can go back and watch a replay of it. So, hey, we've got Chops, our buddy here. He's finally coming in. So we're going to bring Chops in here real quick. Let's turn his camera on.
Hey,
there's our buddy Chops. So a little bit about Chops. Chops is a former Marine, served in Iraq, right? Or Afghanistan? Afghanistan. Served in Afghanistan in a artillery battery, and attended the counter steer event with us a few weeks ago in North Carolina. And I wanted to I met Chops years ago through the Leatherneck MC, and Chops was a dear friend of our friend Moto. And we all know that we lost Moto back on February 24th. And about a week later, Chops and I were having a discussion, and we made the determination that he could use some motorsports therapy. So, Chops, if you don't mind, and I know this is the first time Chops has ever shared anything publicly. I want everybody to know that. So kudos to Chops for having the chops to sit here and do this with us, right? Chops rode down with me. We had pretty intense truck time, pretty serious truck time. And we ended up sharing a room down there as well. So we had a whole weekend together. He stopped at a event in Parkersburg, West Virginia. It was a welcome home Vietnam veterans event. We had the Ryan Roulette 67 VFW car there. We got to hang out with them for a little bit. And Chops, I just kind of want to touch on what made you say yes. Finally, I guess is what I would say to coming out for that motorsports diversion therapy. What was it?
So I guess what made me finally say yes was everything that I had been doing prior to everything that went down. Everything that I've been doing to help myself was still helping, but it wasn't enough. I've got a lot of support with a whole lot of different things, and I still felt like I needed more. And turns out that more was Save 22. These many years later, I've been around since pretty much the beginning of Save 22. I knew a lot of these
Long
guys.
time.
I just never utilized the tools at my what's the word I'm looking for?
Disposal.
Yes, correct.
So can we talk about leading up to the event? Because I know from our personal conversations that you were battling even going, like you wanted to back out day prior.
Correct.
I mean, you were right there. So tell me about that, and what was your mindset in that, and why were you backing out, and what made you decide to haul ass down here to the house? What was that driving force?
So I was wanting to back out because I do have a baby. Family time is pretty important to me. I haven't been able to spend a whole lot of time with my family. Working on the road really hinders that. So that was probably the biggest in why I didn't want to, where I was wanting to back out. What ultimately, my old lady told me that I was going.
I was waiting for that.
I
didn't know if you were going to say it or not.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were going to say it or not. I thought maybe I'd have to get in there and be like, all right, look, here's what really happened.
Yeah.
So
she knew that I needed it.
Yeah. She reached out to me and she said, I'm worried about you. And, I can't stress it enough how much courage that took on her behalf. And then how much courage it takes on your behalf to say, yeah, I do need a little bit of something and I don't know what it is. And kudos to them and you, right? So tell me, it didn't start out right. It didn't start out good. You were on the road and were supposed to come down here and you had to drive another 2 hours home to pick up a helmet that you weren't aware you needed to bring. And, it didn't bring you to the house until like 9:30 at night. And we were up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. We were on the road. We were down in Parkersburg by 7:30. Tell me about that for you. Was it a whirlwind? Were you calm and content? Were you nervous, scared, anxious? Tell me about that ride down to Parkersburg.
So I was nervous, scared, all of the emotions. I was working in the Pittsburgh area, and it was supposed to be a nice chill ride over to your place. And then, hey, you need to bring a helmet. Okay, well, that throws a wrench into my plans. Now I have to drive 2 hours home, grab the helmet, 2 hours to your place. No longer just a nice chill ride. It was all right. It just added to it. And then on the way to Parkersburg, I had totally forgot about the event at Parkersburg. So
You were a little confused on the ride down. Why are we? What?
Yeah.
I have to do an event.
We're doing what now? I gotta represent these guys. Like I don't I'm not much of a people person. Not a great talker. So it was all like, okay, well, I guess sink or swim. We'll find out.
Baptism by fire. But
Yeah.
what did you tell me after that event in Parkersburg? What did you tell me after that? And I don't want to hear that. Hey, I'm hungry. That's not what I mean.
So I don't remember exactly what I said, but I'm pretty sure that I thanked you because I needed that as much as the guys that I talked to needed that. I don't know. What did I say exactly? Do you remember?
Something to the effect of, wow.
Yeah.
Right? Just wow. It was a Vietnam event. It was a welcome home deal. And I don't think you realized, as many of us do, that we matter, right? That somebody gives a shit about us, right? And I think when you saw that, right, that you saw the impact that I had with the one lady that was just broke down into tears immediately when she heard about the mission of us. And the other gentleman who said, I never shared this with anybody. And, we're in a public place and people are crying just when they hear our mission and a little bit about my story or, other things that we have done. And I think you were overwhelmed with the realization that there are people who give a shit and that there are so many organizations out there that are willing to do things to help you with this. That's what I think went down with you. And we hopped in the truck, we went down, we got some lunch, we made it down to North Carolina, and we did the counter steer. Unfortunately, you got injured day one. But I
Hold
don't know
on,
how
I'm gonna interrupt you for a minute because he deserves
go ahead.
credit for how it happened.
Right.
Yes.
Go ahead.
When you're
Go
on
ahead.
the track with national champs and you are keeping up with them, to be clear, but then they decide they're going to go into that next level.
They're going to go pro mode on your ass.
Yeah. And for the record, so everybody hears it, he was there and with them until
he was hanging until they went pro mode on him.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, nobody saw you wreck. So we don't know that really happened. That's just what you're saying. Right? We don't know.
No, I honestly thought he got pegged. I really did.
So I thought he caught. I thought he got pegged.
Yeah.
I thought he got caught up in the rib cage or something, and it was bad. Chops ended up tearing his meniscus and his ACL. And I'll tell you, he championed on. He even got back on the bike on Sunday and then said, nope, not doing it. Rode all the way home with me Sunday night, drove all the way back to his place Sunday night. And he's now recovering for the next probably 6 weeks. I think he got about 5 left in that. So I want to get your take on the experience down there. What happened for you?
Can you be a little bit more specific?
Yes, I will try. So
I got one. Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
So from my perspective, I've known Chop. I know who he is. We've never had like a conversation like we did in counter steer, and getting to know you and watching you, and you were uncomfortable, man. We all were. Nobody wanted, we did not know where we fit, right? What are we here for exactly? But the second you too, John, got on those bikes and Chuck and I are standing there watching, and you could just physically see I'm where I need to be, right?
Yeah.
Then having that moment by the fire where the dude sang.
That was tough.
And I'm standing right next to you, man. We're both like, phew, right? That was hard.
I think everybody cried that night.
For all of us to have that bond, right? No judgment, no BS. You want to cry, right? We're picking you up and we're joking the whole time with you, and you're hurt, right? And then for you to say, look, I'm not done. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go ride. And you did. Now, you didn't go to the big track. You were just doing your roundy round, and, you were having your time. And I think that's the biggest thing I saw with you is allowing yourself to have your time. So I'm proud of you, buddy. I mean, that you really took time for you. That's huge, man. So
Yeah. Thank you.
I noticed at the track, the corner track, right, where you're doing the diamond
Yep.
track, the directions that are given, right? Full throttle, brake, turn, go, right? And Dave was explaining it to me because I'm a car guy, right? I'm a four-wheel guy. I'm a momentum through the corners, turns, keep all that up. And he had to pull me aside and say, you're trying to ride your bike like you drive a car, and you can't do that. This is way different, right? So I want you to go full speed, stop it, turn it, go full speed again. And I'm like, okay. I'm trying, and it's just not working, right, for me. So I got a lot of life lessons out of that event, and I guess that's what I'm asking. Did you have any aha moments? I call them light switch moments where things that you may have been battling in your head just kind of all of a sudden made sense, like they don't really matter, or boy, they do matter, or your perspective changed on anything that really helped you out through that weekend. Was it the motorcycle riding? Was it the one-on-one instruction? Was it the pizza and fire time? What really was it? The hotel time afterwards, right? what really made an impact on you for that weekend? What really kind of helped you out? Because even though you're injured, you speak differently after that event. I want you to know that, right? Like you talk differently. You might not recognize it, but you do.
So, like, there's not one thing that was like monumental. If there was, it was the truck ride down, that good one-on-one. But the whole thing was just what I needed. Everything, each little part played a part in the other part. It was fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
Chops is a man of few words, and I will tell you that he was very apprehensive about coming on here today for a couple of reasons. But Chops, you did great, my friend. Right?
Thank you.
Just to click on the link and come on here and sit here and watch. And I know there's only 8 people watching now, but by the end of the week there might be 500. And to be able to sit here and be vulnerable, to say, look, I'm not that tough guy that I portray. I had a moment. Right. And it doesn't make me weak, right? It doesn't make me less of a man. It says I reached my limit with something and I needed to let go of some shit. And these guys allowed me to do that with no judgment or reprisal. And I think that's what we offer, right? In all these events that we do. And Countersteer with Dave and Mark are just phenomenal guys who have great instructional abilities. Are national champions, so they know what the hell they're talking about, but they're also veterans, right? And they have a vast array of experiences, and the people that they bring down there and put together, nobody knows anybody, and we all just show up, and bam, all of a sudden we all know everybody by the end of the day, and we're out there at a campfire playing a guitar with a Nashville songwriter. I mean,
no idea.
For crying out loud, so this is the kind of things that you get when you come to any event. It doesn't have to be a Save 22 event. You get out to another nonprofit that's doing underwater basket weaving for veterans, and that's your niche, man. You're gonna have a good time. You're gonna get out of it what you want. And man, I'm really glad that you attended. I'm glad you took the time today. I know it was a busy morning for you, so I'm going to give you one last chance to say anything that you'd like about Save 22 and us. And I want to give props to Chops as well. He's 2 hours away from where the hike was held. He is in an immobilizer from his crotch to his ankle, and he made the hike on Saturday. He didn't walk it, but he drove that whole way to come down and be there for us. And that speaks volumes to you and your character. And we would just like to thank you for being there for us this weekend. So thank you.
And one quick note, he caught me off guard completely. Like, beard's a little different. And I turned and like, I wasn't expecting to see him on crutches. And I'm like, and I looked at him. I'm like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool, man, to see you. And I'm sorry our conversation was short, man, but we're definitely going to see each other again.
It's all good.
We
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. We'll see each other.
We are.
So thank you, Save 22. It was what I needed. Exactly what I needed. All different aspects of it. It did take a lot to put myself out there to actually go, but it was definitely worth it. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Awesome.
Highly recommend.
Thank you, Chops. Man, we love you, dude. And I'm so glad you went. I'll talk to you very soon. I'm going to let you go. Albert and I are going to finish this up. Cool. And we'll talk at you soon, my friend.
See you, buddy.
Love you later.
Chops. Love you, buddy.
Man.
So, man, I love that guy, right? You know, he's one of those tough. He's one of those tough guys who just what's going on?
So Kathleen, he's definitely changed since he's been back. He's become a better husband and father since he went. I'm so happy that you guys took him. That's all you need to see, folks. It's that simple. It is.
Thanks, Kathleen. Thank you. I had a lady approach me after the ceremonies for the hike who reached up, gave me a hug, and just whispered in my ear, "Please keep doing Tuesday Talk." I listen, and it helps me understand my husband a little bit better. Please keep doing it.
Good talk.
Yeah, good talk. Good talk. So, hey, we got some stuff to talk about here. I got to we got to put an out in here. No, it's this way. So right over there is that Tuesday Talk at save22.vet, right? We have some unique opportunities right here in Ohio coming up in June with the NHRA. Lex June will be here at Norwalk, and we are looking to take some veterans and first responders up. I have 5 passes per day for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Please email us at Tuesday Talk right there, and we're going to put it out on the Save 22 socials as well. I need you to email us at Tuesday Talk at save22.vet and let me know that you're interested in attending the Norwalk, Ohio NHRA event, June 27th through the 29th. I can only take 5. Now, at this time, there is no plans for overnight staying. However, if the interest is high enough and you're coming from far enough away, we may be able to secure something, right? It has not been established yet. We are still, what are we, 6, 7 weeks away? But, it's Norwalk, Ohio. It's small town Ohio, guys. So give me, hit us up fast. Let us know. 5 guys are going to be, or 5 gals, guys, whatever. First responders, people, humans. Are going to hopefully are going to be attending an NHRA event, right? And that's going to give you access to every day of the event. It'll give you pit side access in the secured area with Lex June. You'll have lunch, possibly dinner every day.
You will have hospitality with the team. Absolutely, that will happen.
Will absolutely be hospitality with the team. Lex definitely goes above and beyond. Now, I want to remind you, though, Lex takes about 10 grand to this racetrack for the weekend. The guys like Tony Stewart, Tony Schumacher, Antron Brown, the big name teams, they bring over $100,000 to this weekend. Lex is what you call a private guy just trying to make it. And we can't thank him enough for the hospitality that he gives us and every veteran and first responder that comes to that track on such a small budget. So thank you to Lex. Reach out over here to that Tuesday Talk at save22.vet and let me know you're interested. Put in their motorsports, put in Norwalk, Ohio, put in something. Let me know that you're a veteran, a family of a veteran, a first responder. Let me know, and we'll get you the program application, get it filled out, and we'll try to get you over to the races on June 27th.
Yep.
Yeah, 27th. 5 spots, guys. 5 spots. That's all I got. So give it up. Give it up. We might have to do some more.
Yep.
You don't have to attend every day. You can attend one and no more. You can attend every day if you like. I will be there every day. That's just what we're going to do that weekend. I will be the rep for Save 22. So, yeah, that's one thing. Let's talk about the other. We have where to go. Michigan, June 6th with ARCA, 6th and 7th. I think it's the race is on the 7th, which is a Saturday, probably be about a noontime race. Practice and qualifying will be on the 6th. That's up at Brooklyn, Michigan, at the Michigan track. We will find out later this week who will be the attendee for the Save 22 people. We also have the possibly the NHRA at Bristol. If there's anybody down in Tennessee that would like to attend, keep in mind, though, this one, no lodging, right? You'll have to make your way there on your own for this one. ARCA,
Yeah.
Bristol, NHRA. Yeah, that's everything right now.
Bristol, we're still working on some logistics.
We are.
Lodging's a nightmare.
Lodging's
right
tough
now.
at Bristol. You know,
so
I've been there for a NASCAR
looking.
race. It's tough. We're gonna see. I want you all to keep in mind, though, 2026, we're gonna have a more concrete schedule laid out. We're gonna have a better plan for lodging, all those things for 2026. So, you know, keep listening, right? We've got some things in the works with Carson Brown Motorsports, other avenues.
Carmen
we have
is still
we have
there.
a big surprise. We have a big surprise on where we're going to be in November after all the races is over.
Oh, yes.
We haven't solidified that one, but man, it's a big name, and boy, we couldn't be more happier with that invitation. I'll tell you that I can't wait to bring that one out. That's going to be a good one.
It'll be fun.
What else you got, Al? You said to keep it to an hour. I think we did pretty good. We got a few guests on here. We talked about a lot of stuff. We got all the upcoming events coming out. What do you got?
I just want to thank anyone and everyone that's made this 10 years what it's been. Honestly,
10 years.
We don't do this stuff alone. We know it. To hear stories and testimonials like Junior's, Chuck's, Chops, they just, when we're having that day where it's like, why? You know, we're working through our internal stuff of moving merch and getting things where they need to be and how we're going to do it. And man, you know, and it works. It just works because everybody comes together for a common goal. They put their own needs behind the person next to them. You're putting the person next to you's needs above your own. And when you have a group of individuals like that or people like that, you're unstoppable.
Let's talk about people like that. Where are we going to be tonight? We're going to be down with the Blowing Smoke guys.
Yeah. So, and this just kind of popped up, you know, we have a couple guys that, you know, been through some stuff here lately, struggling hard still. They're fighting. So we decided, let's just do an impromptu cigar at the cigar box down with the Blowing Smoke guys. So if you're in the Bolivar, Ohio area tonight, Canton area tonight, come down to Bolivar, Ohio cigar box. Come up, show up, have a cigar with us.
Hey, we're going to park the Save 22 van down there in front of the cigar box. We're going to talk with them. We're going to have a couple hours with those guys tonight. Maybe turn on the Cavs game, talk some smack. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
Come down.
There'll be smack talk.
There'll be smack talk. You get a bunch of Army, Marines, Navy, first responders, cops, Air Force, all in the same room. Man, it gets
firefighters and cops together as bad as Marines and Army.
That's
together.
bad enough. That's bad enough, right? Hey, you know, I think we covered everything. My list has been checked off. Oh, we do have the Jeebus Memorial Run the same weekend as the ARCA Michigan. Jason is going to be taking that one.
Awesome.
For us. That's down in Athens, Ohio. What a great group of people they are. We met them a few years ago. A shame why we met them, obviously, but just a great group of people trying to keep Chris's name alive down there. And man, we can't wait to get back down there again. So what else we got? I think that might be it. Thank you for everybody for joining. We're going to wait 2 weeks. we're going to wait 2 weeks. I got a busy weekend with air show stuff, and Al's got a busy one with CVMA. Hey, when's your next car show down there?
Good question.
Hey, so check out. Well, check out.
I believe it's the 17th of May. I'm not sure, but again, you can just follow our socials and look for stuff to happen. We
Follow
usually
our socials.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do, honestly, or the website. And we'll try to keep things going as we keep moving. But I know car show season has already kicked off. Again, can't thank the car community enough in Myrtle Beach for everything they do. It's going to be a good summer, man.
It's going to be a good summer. It is. It's going to be a good summer.
Steve Plano, what time tonight at Blowing Smoke? Sorry, we didn't mention that. Thanks, Steve, for the catch. 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Cigar Box, Bolivar, Ohio. If you're in the area, come down, hang out. Even if you don't smoke cigars, come down, hang out.
Even if you don't smoke, come hang out, right? It's supposed to be a semi-decent night, I hope. And you know what? If we get too big for the building, we'll step outside or we'll go somewhere else. It'll be okay.
Yep.
It'll be all right. I can't give those guys enough credit either. Blowing Smoke was started by a couple 20-year-olds, right? They're like, I think they were 24.
Kids. They're kids.
Young kids, like younger than my own children. They are kids because they're younger than my kids. And they started it because they had been involved in some shootings young. And one guy had not even been on the squad 3 months yet. And, kudos to them for reaching out and starting something and getting together and just talking about their bullshit. Right. And it is bullshit. I want everybody to know that. Right. When we can come to a place, trauma growth is when you can talk about an event that was traumatic to you, no matter what it was, without feeling the emotion of the event. And to be able to discuss that openly without the emotions can give you the growth and the kick in the butt, the momentum that you need to move forward.
Yeah.
Right. To let that stuff go in the past. There's nothing that we can do about it. It's done. It's over. It does not define you. Right. It is not today. Today, everything is fine. So kudos to Blowing Smoke. Be there tonight, 6 p.m., Bolivar, Ohio. I got to figure out. I like Olivas myself. I'm an Oliva guy, right?
I'm a Cuba acid. You know me.
Yeah, I know you like them acids. You like them acids, but hey, I think that's it. I don't really think I got much else to bloviate about.
Got a busy day here with the Carolina crew, getting ready to head back. So need to off and get moving.
Yep. Awesome. So see you guys tonight, 6 p.m. Tune in on the 20th at 10 a.m. We're going to try to do it then. Albert will have some talks about his first pitch experience and the car show that weekend.
Hopefully I don't show up like Samson did.
Yeah. Don't need Tommy John surgery after that, please. that would suck balls. Hey, thank you, everyone. Big ups. Hey, I got to give one more big ups to Moto's mom. Laura Schaefer popped up at the hike this weekend, and she gave about 3 minutes of her time to us to speak on behalf of her experiences since losing Moto that day in February. And she has been such an inspiration to so many people out there. She reached out this morning. She's going to be speaking on our behalf for the North Canton YMCA this month. Just can't say enough about her and how much she's done and taken something so I can't imagine what she has gone through. I just can't. And trying to turn it into something positive and educational and resourceful for others. So kudos to Laura. We love you, honey. And if there's anything that we can do for you, please reach out. There we go. That's about all I got. See you all on the 20th. Thank you to all our guests today, Chuck, John, Samson. Tune in on the 20th. I think we're going to have a couple more special guests. So keep it in mind. Shoot us a text, shoot us an email, Tuesday talk at save22.vet. Check us out. Give us a call, 1-833-I-SAVE22. And don't forget to check out the website, save22.vet. Peace out.